Today's topic is discerning God's purpose and man's purpose. At the beginning of the chapter of Job, we meet a man who believed God's purpose was for his people to experience an abundance of blessings and wealth on earth. It's the equivalent to us as Americans believing that it is our purpose to achieve the American dream of professional success, a loving spouse, a home with a picket fence, and good personal health. And when our hard work and discipline guides us closer to those things, we feel confident in our prayers, our giving, and our worship. But what happens when life interrupts that path? Or someone or something comes along, like what happened to Job, and takes away everything you thought you earned as a faithful follower of God? It's during those times when you have to discern between what is God's purpose for you or your purpose for yourself. In 2 Kings chapter 4, we are introduced to a woman who lost her husband, income, and soon her children to pay off her debts. While I don't have children, I can only imagine the pain and anxiety of being unable to protect and care for them as their parent. All she believed was left was a jar of oil. But as we discussed yesterday, she still had the foundation of the fear of the Lord. Yet sometimes there seems nothing worse than fearing God, but not feeling his presence when you need him the most. Yet her faith didn't permit her to settle for man's purpose as it pertains to the fate of her children as slaves. She instead sought out God through his prophet Elijah for help. And when the prophet told her to gather empty jars of oil, to fill it with the contents of her only jar of oil, she still didn't miss or dismiss the bequest, deferring to lean into her own understanding. Rather, she obediently followed his instruction out of reverence and trust in God. Christian living sometimes requires us to experience nothingness so that we are reminded of God's purpose to submit all to him. When all we have is hope wrapped in a jar of oil, he tells us to even give that away to him so that we may see how it's only through him that he can take that oil and provide for not only our personal need, but also the needs of our family, neighbors, and his people. Christian living doesn't always make sense, but when we obey during those moments of impossibility, it creates miracles. The world we live in does not value or treasure brokenness, inadequacy, or empty hands. In other words, the world does not value what God values: humility, emptiness, and meekness, and a submissive heart. While man's desire is for an easy life, God desires we place his plan above whatever plan we may have for ourselves. And when his plan hurts or requires persecution, it is then that you discern for whom you are living. The simplicity of Christian living isn't in the ability to remove the pain, but the ability to trust in his instruction as you get through it. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for your will. Thank you for the trials and tribulations that present opportunities to come to you for instruction and peace. And when we often try to solve our pain in an effort for an easy life on earth, thank you for your patience and grace to welcome our brokenness for restoration back to you.